Hey loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faith, and today guys I'll be checking out this interesting video from Thomas Sowell, and it's titled The Truth Behind the Fall of the Chinese Empire. And you guys, I'm super excited as always. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what Thomas Sowell has for us in this video.
China was for centuries the most technologically advanced nation in the world, especially during what were called the Middle Ages in Europe. The Chinese had cast iron 1,000 years before the Europeans.
For real?
A Chinese admiral led a voyage of discovery that was longer than Columbus's voyage, generations before Columbus's voyage, and in ships far larger and technologically more advanced than Columbus's ships.
Wow.
One crucial decision in 15th century China, however, set in motion a radical change in the relative positions of the Chinese and the Europeans. Like other nations demonstrably more advanced than others, the Chinese regarded those others as innately inferior, as barbarians, just as the Romans likewise regarded peoples beyond the domain of the Roman Empire. Convinced by the exploratory voyages of its ships that there was nothing to be learned from other peoples in other places, the government of China decided in 1433 to not only discontinue such voyages, but to forbid such voyages, or the building of ships capable of making such voyages, and to greatly reduce the influence of the outside world on Chinese society.
Wow.
Plausible as this decision might have seemed at the time, it came as Europe was emerging from its dark ages of retrogression in the wake of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, and was now experiencing a renaissance of progress in many ways, including progress based on developing things that had originated in China, such as printing and gunpowder. Columbus's ships, though not up to the standards of those once made in China, were sufficient to cross the Atlantic Ocean in search of a route to India, and to inadvertently make the world-changing discovery of a whole hemisphere. In short, Europe had expanding opportunities for progress, both within itself and in the larger world opened up to it by its expansion into the other half of the planet, at a time when China's rulers had chosen the path of isolation, not total, but substantial isolation. The straitjacket of isolation, inflicted on many parts of the world by geographic barriers that left whole peoples and nations both poor and backward, was inflicted on China by its own rulers.
Wow.
The net result over the centuries that followed was that China fell behind in an era of great technological and economic progress elsewhere in the world.
Wow, you guys, this is very interesting. And listening to Thomas Sowell always enlightens me on things I didn't know about. For example, I didn't know that the reason why China Empire fell was on their own making. They did this, they brought this upon themselves by isolating themselves from the rest of the world, and this brought about the downfall of the Chinese Empire. This is very, very educating. I love listening to Thomas Sowell because there's a whole lot to be learned from just hearing him speak. You guys, let me know your thoughts on this one so far. Did you know that this was the root cause of why China fell behind because of their own doings? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and let's wrap this video up, you guys.
In the pitiless international jungle, this meant that other countries not only surpassed China, but imposed their will on a vulnerable China, which declined to the status of a third world country, partly subordinated to other countries in various ways, including a loss of territory, as the Portuguese took over the port of Macau, the British took over the port of Hong Kong, and eventually Japan seized much territory on the mainland of China.
Wow.
What China lost were not the prerequisites represented by the qualities of its people, but the wisdom of its rulers, who, with one crucial decision, the loss of just one prerequisite, forfeited the country's preeminence in the world. That the qualities of the Chinese people endured was evidenced by the worldwide success of millions of overseas Chinese emigrants, who arrived in many countries in Southeast Asia and in the Western Hemisphere, often destitute and with little education, and yet rose over the generations to prosperity, and in many individual cases, even great wealth. The contrast between the fate of China and the fate of the overseas Chinese was demonstrated when, as late as 1994, the 57 million overseas Chinese produced as much wealth as the billion people living in China.
Wow.
China was by no means the only nation to forfeit a superior position among the nations of the world. Ancient Greece and the Roman Empire were far more advanced than their British or Scandinavian contemporaries,
Wow.
who were largely illiterate at a time when Greeks and Romans had landmark intellectual giants and were laying the intellectual and material foundations of Western civilization. As late as the 10th century, a Muslim scholar noted that Europeans grew more pale the farther north you go, and also that the farther they are to the north, the more stupid, gross, and brutish they are. Such a correlation between complexion and ability would be taboo today, but there is little reason to doubt that a very real correlation existed among Europeans as of the time when this observation was made. The fact that Northern Europe and Western Europe would move ahead of Southern Europe economically and technologically many centuries later was a heartening sign that backwardness in a given era does not mean backwardness forever.
That's
But
true.
that does not deny that great
Wow, you guys, that was such an interesting one from Thomas Sowell. I really learned a thing or two from this video, and I believe you guys also enjoyed this whole video. Let me know what you guys think about what Thomas Sowell talked about in this video. Do you think there is more to the Chinese empire falling than what Thomas Sowell stated in this video? If there is anything that was missing during the course of this video, please leave it in the comment section down below. I really had fun reacting to Thomas Sowell, and I believe you guys also enjoyed watching. If you did enjoy watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And this is me officially signing out. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.